Hey, welcome. If you are watching on YouTube, you're going to notice something a little different. You can see me. I don't typically record myself when I do YouTube or when I do this podcast. I just record it. But for the next 4 episodes, that's my hope, is you're going to see me record it. That's because I'm pre-recording these. I'm actually going on a vacation, a road trip. I'm driving up to Canada. I'm staying up in New Hampshire and stuff for a couple weeks. And so I'm doing kind of a block thing. And I thought, well, since I'm sitting here and already organizing 4 weeks worth of content, let's just record myself. So literally, this is going to be a little for the insiders here. I'm going to just be changing my shirt. So you're going to see me in different YouTube videos. Same day, same everything, different shirt. Okay, so today I want to be talking about social media and what it looks like when you start running ads on social media. And so I think for most Etsy sellers, kind of where they're at or what they're comfortable doing is posting on social media their product pictures. So they take pictures for Etsy, get all their stuff organized, take their pictures, and then they're like, all right, now I'm going to put that on social media. And then maybe there's some stories of some stuff that are taking place. They kind of treat it like a newsletter, like, oh, I've got something releasing, or I'm doing this new thing, come check this out. And so they use stories for that kind of stuff. But for the most part, their social media is just kind of a secondary location to be found, which, if you are not into social media, this isn't really a thing. That's a great way to do it. It's just a good way to say, look, I'm here. Here's my stuff. If you want to shop with me, I got a link here. Go check me out. And I don't think there's anything wrong with this. In fact, I would say of every 100 Etsy shop owners I meet with, 100 of them don't like social media. It is. I never hear. You know what I love? Posting on social media. They are all on the same boat, which is like, I know I need to do it. I just don't like to do it. And so I understand that and I get that. The problem with it is, and you can make your money selling and doing your stuff, and you don't need social media for that. It's when you start to get into, I want to start running ads, I want to start doing these things, that you at least need to tackle or go a different direction with what your social media is. You can't take what you're currently doing on social media, probably most of you, what you're doing, and run ads and make that a profitable thing for you. And so I'm going to kind of go through some basic things that you should be doing, could be doing, at least thinking about, working towards, that you can, when the time comes that you're going to start wanting to run social media ads, that you have the right mindset and framework to be able to say, I think this could be something that'd be really profitable and will work for me and that I can scale, as opposed to I'm just going to boost my product pictures and hope for the best. So let's dive into that. Now, the thing that you want to position yourself, or let's do this. If you ever get into this, all right, here I go, I'm going to get into social media, and you start looking for stuff on YouTube, you're going to see really quick people are going to start promoting storytelling. They're going to start saying, look, you need to learn how to storytell, you need to do this kind of framework and whatnot to be able to really position yourself to be able to sell online. And there is a lot of truth to this, and that they call it kind of like a dark psychology when it comes to selling online. And a lot of the guru coaches use this, where there's things called the dark pit, which is you're supposed to be when my bank account was at 0, I was crying on the bathroom floor, and then I discovered this new framework, and now I'm a billionaire that lives in a Lamborghini or whatever. I guess if you're a billionaire living in a Lamborghini, that wouldn't be the best life, but if you had multiple Lamborghinis, that would be good. So there's this kind of stuff, and if you've listened to the podcast long enough, you know that I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole with you, because there's no point. We are genuine, we are authentic people, and we're going to use storytelling to bring a positive, truthful statement to what we're doing. And so one of the best examples of this, well, it's not necessarily storytelling, but it's a really great, just understanding their target audience, is Febreze, ironically. So Febreze, when they came out, realized that they can stop odor, right? So you spray this thing and it kills odor. And that was originally what they were built for, stop odor. And they knew they had something. They knew this was great. They knew this was a need. You got a smell in your house or something stinks or whatever, just kill the odor. It had no scent. Just kill the odor. And so they ran it out and started marketing it and selling it and whatnot, and they really couldn't sell a whole lot. And everyone was kind of scratching their heads of what? We know this is a good product, but we can't get people to buy it. And when they would get people to buy it, they couldn't get them to use it. And so people are just sitting on their shelf collecting dust. And so they ended up kind of sending people out to customers and being like, hey, why aren't you using your Febreze? And what they learned through all these studies and speaking to people was that people had what they called nose blind, which means that they didn't identify bad smells if the bad smells were coming from them. So like if their house had a certain smell, or if there's like, they just become used to it. It wasn't something that they felt like they needed to cover up. And so they took this idea of like, oh, you don't recognize your own odor. You don't recognize or feel a need that you're supposed to cover up this smell if it doesn't bother you or it's not bothering other people or whatever it may be. So then they said, oh gosh, back to the lab, scratch head. What should we do? What should we do? And they decided that they were going to do what you see in modern day Febreze, which is like, we're not going to stop odor. We're going to create a scent. So that way they're enhancing the room. The room is now becoming something that smells better. And so you're no longer blocking, but you're adding to your room. And it was that switch that made them who they are today. So they started to do their marketing more. Hey, eliminate odor, check. Add a fresh scent and ocean breeze into your stuff, and isn't that great smelling air? Wow. So literally adding scent to the product and then marketing the fact that it's going to make your house smell like a beach changed the whole direction of this company. We can say, and there's truth to this, like, oh, they just weren't hitting their target pain point. That's why they were struggling. The truth is, there's just really no story to eliminating odor. It's just not something that has a finish line. It doesn't have the end, they all lived happily ever after feel to it. But when you add ocean breeze to your scent, suddenly there's a story arc of, wow, something smells bad, something's taking place, something's off, to I sprayed this spray, and now everything smells great. That story arc is the thing that sold Febreze. It's the thing that made you want to buy Febreze. And that's what you have to bring kind of into your brand. Not necessarily what I was saying before, dark hole, this is where I was. But there just needs to be something that shows this kind of, I want you to, if you see on YouTube, I'm doing a circle with my hands. This circular motion of your brand. That it's like, you start here, you get the product, and now you're here. And there's different circles that you can take them through. There's different little tunnels that you can take your prospects through. I'm going to share with you a live example of a friend of mine that reached out to me and needed help selling something online. So this friend of mine was my, oh gosh, it's a tricky word, phlebotomist? The person who drew, so when I was in college, I did plasma to stay alive. And she was the person that, phlebotomist? Whatever they're called, you know what I mean. They drew my blood. And we became good friends because I was there like twice a week because I needed money. And so she was drawing my blood and we talked forever. And so we ended up becoming friends on Facebook. And then, I went off with my life and she went on with her life. This was many, many moons ago. But we've stayed friends on Facebook. And so I started to see her selling. She was a super good artist. And so she moved into decorating these cookies where she could like draw your infant son on a cookie. And it was wildly good. And so she, I was watching her sell, was very supportive of her. Oh my gosh, this is so great. I'm so happy for you that you're doing this thing and yada, yada, yada. And she ended up just kind of being like, hey, Jared, I think you're in this world. Can we talk? I'd like to kind of pick your brain about some stuff. So we ended up chatting and her whole thing was like, Jared, everything I do, like I can't, like it has to come through social media. Like I don't have a choice. I have to sell through social media and I need help figuring out how to sell on social media. Like I'm struggling. And so we looked at her page. What was her page? Drum roll, please. Her page was simply pictures of her cookies, which were beautiful and got lots of engagement from her friends and family because they were supporting her the same way I was supporting her. But I'm not buying cookies from her, right? I'm just supporting the fact that that cookie looks just like the infant that, was the side by side. And so I ended up saying to her, look, I get what you're doing here. This is great. This is showing me your product. This is the end. But if we go back to our circle graph that I was telling before, you're just showing the end of this journey, of this story that you're doing. And so she has 3 little girls, and her 3 little girls are kind of involved in what she does. They help kind of do some stuff and whatnot. And then she has this giant process where she goes through it all. And so she had done some time lapse and some stuff so you can kind of get the gauge of the amount of work that went into it. And so I kind of more or less introduced the story to her to say, look, I want you to tell the story of the cookie, of when someone reaches out, what is it that they're wanting, and creating, the honesty from your end. So like I was given 4 days to do what I needed to do. And so for me to be able to do it, I had to break it in that I worked 3 hours a day on this and this and this. I had my girls help me here. I sat down at nap time and did this, crunched it through right at the end. And now here's my finished product, and then revealing the product at the end of the story. So you're telling the story, and then it reveals. And so everything's kind of a B-roll footage, or what's that like? I already said it. When it moves fast. So it's like going through it really quick. And then at the end comes the reveal. Gosh, there I am right in front of the camera. The reveal cookie that shows you why you stayed. So you're staying there and hearing this story and getting involved in the story so that you can see how it ended. And that story arc of what she was doing ended up building the brand that she has today. And that brand sells a lot of cookies because people got invested in her, in her ability to create cookies. And so they buy her cookies because they are invested in her, not necessarily the cookies, right? You can get cookies from other people, but why her? The story. You're involved in it. You love it. There's this girl that I'm connected with in a really weird way. She has an Instagram called Rachel's Room. I gotta look it up. Hold on. Okay, I got it. It's Rachel's Room Art with an underscore for between the words. So Rachel's underscore Room Art. And she is a digital creator and has done really well. She's super creative. Super creative person. And weird. You'll see. But very creative. And she's looking for growth in what she's doing. She's a digital creator. And so we ended up kind of crossing paths and had a conversation. And I said, story. Yeah, you are fun to watch. Fun. But where's the thing that's going to keep me coming back, that I want to see more? So currently her feed was very much geared towards, yeah, when you show up, I enjoy you, but I don't miss you when you're gone. I don't know what's happening. And you can see, if you want to jump on there, you'll start to see her telling her story a little bit more and how that's going to bring someone in along for the ride. So anyway, that's something that's a side project, but she's using a very similar approach. So let's go to you, the Etsy seller. You can show your products. You can run ads to your products and hope that people say, I want that product and I'm going to buy it. And it does work. So if you're like, hey, look, are you this person? Do you want to buy this thing? That's essentially what you ask them when you are showing them the product. Do you want to buy this? And when you're running ads, you do want to be a little direct with the way that you communicate, because we don't want to just run ads to have people say, well, that was a fun video, and move on with their life. But we do want to organically attract their attention to our ad. And that's a difficult thing to do. So if it's just like, boom, here's my ad, scroll past. You haven't won my attention. Storytelling, this circle thing that I keep doing over and over again on YouTube, is how you get someone to care about what you say. And in today's media and in today's ad space, you have to get people to care. And what we used to do for a long time is we used to write these long stories in our copy. And it's moving more towards into these hooks of storytelling. So let me actually share with you a story. Well, it's not a story, but I'm working with someone currently that does baptism towels. So people get baptized. She writes their name on the towels and the date and all that stuff so that they have that. And she has ran ads on social media, which are very much like, here's a picture of my towel. Are you interested in buying it? Which can work, right? And Facebook gets smart and can kind of figure stuff out. It's the problem with that is that they're not engaging ads, right? There's nothing about them that makes people want to see that unless they are looking for a baptism towel to get their custom, then it's good. And so you kiss a lot of frogs to be able to get the correct people. The problem is during the kissing all the frogs is that the ad itself starts to take a hit because it's not generating the engagement that you would want. So a way that you tackle this, or the way that you sort of hack the algorithm, is you say, look, I'm going to present my product more as a story and get people to engage in the story and then offer the product, or make the product the hero of the story. So like an example of this is she could be like, the story could be like about the gift to the person. So I'm about to give my my friend who's getting baptized today. I'm about to give him this present. It's got the date and everything that's on this. Let's go see the reaction. Let's go do this kind of thing. That's a story. I'm interested. I want to see how this person reacts to this gift that you're going to give them. And now I'm having all these emotional reactions as I'm watching it. And I'm like, hey, that's a really cool gift. I really like that. I know someone getting baptized, or I'm getting baptized, or whatever it may be. You could do here, here's actually a great hook. Do you remember when you were baptized? I don't. End of hook. So, do you remember the exact date you were baptized? I don't. So that's why I went back and I created this thing, and I used to make these towels and sell them on Etsy, and they sold okay. But I recognized that there was an issue, and the issue was that people didn't remember the day that they're baptized. So if I took these towels that I was selling and instead put the date of when they were being baptized on it, then at this point I started to offer that to people who were being baptized. And this is when this product started to really sell or really move for me, because now people have this thing that they can remember, that they can cherish, they can have the rest of their life and remember the day that they got baptized. If you want to check out some for your own, go to the link and check it out. Ta-da! Now what happens is you're going to get people who opt in for that ad, meaning they're going to give you their attention instead of being bugged by your... Now, there's going to be people who are bugged, but it's a different type of engagement. Let me put it this way. There's a saying in online marketing. If someone gives you 5 seconds, if they watch 5 seconds of your video, they are interested. That's it. They're interested. Now, are they interested in buying your product? No, not all of them, but they're interested in your story. There's something about what you're doing that worked, that stopped them, that got them to engage with you for 5 seconds. So there's actually this way that you can retarget on Facebook and Instagram of people who've watched at least 5 seconds of your video. This is very wise to do. Let me share with you why. When you present a story, hey, this was my origin story. This is why I created these things. I found this problem. I did this thing. I gave this person this gift. Someone's getting baptized and I'm going through the process of this. Whatever it is. And someone's watching that and is engaged. They're either going to think, that was awesome. That's great. They're going to comment, I remember the day I got baptized. I don't know why these dumb towels exist. Or they're going to say, baptism, please, I'd rather grow horns and a tail and whatever. They're just going to say whatever they want to say. But that's engagement. It counts. It is people giving you their attention. And that's all social media wants. They want you to present content that takes people's attention. And so if you can present it, they love it and they use it and they'll promote it. And this is how you bring down the costs. Because if you have an ad that they're having to push into people and people are scrolling past that thing like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Which realistically, it's better that they say this is the dumbest thing ever and watch your video than it is that they scroll past it and ignore it. That's the worst behavior we want. If they scroll past it and ignore it, then Facebook starts to say, or Instagram starts to say, dude, you're presenting content that our people don't like, that they don't even want. So they start charging you for it, and your CPMs go up. If you instead give them content that people are engaging in and whatnot, then they start to get more data, because they're like, oh, we start to know the people who are really liking this or engaging with this, and they start to show it to more people like that, and then your CPMs go down. They don't penalize you for anything. You get, because they're actually instead grateful that you have content that they can use, and then that's how you can get really cheap conversions that come from this. Now, here's the secret to all this. You only need 2 to 3 good storytelling hook videos. Everything else that you have, all your product pictures, all the things that are super easy to make, that's your retargeting. So when people watch that video, once they watch 5 seconds, if they go to your website and buy, great. If they don't, that's when you can start to present to them, hey, baptism towels, go check it out. Hey, here's a baptism towel, go check it out. All those still pictures, all those, that can be used in the retargeting, because they've already given you their attention. They already have space in their mind that that you've are now landed in, and so you can just start to be relevant to them. There's other marketing techniques. One is if people see you a lot, they assume that you're important, right? And the other one is just like staying top of mind in general. So if you're just staying top of mind, you're harder to forget. And so they start to see, they start to justify more, they start imagining their life with you more, and that's what leads to that purchase. So a lot of us, when we're running social media ads, put our product up, hope that people are wanting to buy this today, right now, and then cross our fingers. When the truth is, that isn't how necessarily people always shop. That you can get them to be involved in a story and say, wow, that is a cool product, and then start being relevant in their life, and then closing that. And that's kind of the way that you would want to run social in 2025. Okay, guys, till next week.